Welcome back to Cubbyhole Conversations. It is January 2nd, 2022. So we have entered a new year. Some people get super excited about that. I usually don't. This year, I'm kind of excited about it. Kind of nice to close out 2021. We actually didn't have a horrible year like some people, so I'm grateful for that. We had a lot of good things happen. We had some stresses as well, but it was a 50-50 year, I guess. So we're entering a new year, and every year recently in the last few years, Jason has picked a kind of like a theme for the year, and Simplify was our theme, well, his theme, which I then just agreed to, I guess. I don't know. I don't do New Year's resolutions, and I don't tend to do annual theme things, but it works. So he picked Simplify for himself. And I thought it was a good idea for our home, so I followed along, and we've been working on simplifying for the last few years. That theme just kind of kept coming. Well, this year, he was telling me about the movie The Martian, and it looked really good, so I was like, cool, and we didn't own it, so I bought it for him for Christmas. He got an early Christmas present there, and he and I watched it, and I thought it was really good. I mean, there's some stuff in there, but for the most part, we both really liked it. And in it, there's this, if you haven't seen it yet, it might be your kind of movie. I don't know. I'm not going to recommend it because I don't like recommending movies because everybody's got their own taste, but we really liked it. If you have seen it, you might remember that he's stuck, and his philosophy is like, what's my next step? And so for this year, Jason choosed? Wow. English is my major, and I said choosed. Jason chose next steps. And we kind of, he came up with that after watching the movie, and then that was like 2 weeks before Christmas, and we've kind of started already like implementing that. And part of it is we're not letting go of the idea of simplifying, so we're still working on that and adding in the next steps. And it's been really cool to implement it and see how it plays out. And then I've talked to a couple people about it, and they're seeing it work in their lives also. Just, they aren't choosing it as a theme or whatever, but they're like, oh yeah, I could see how that would work in this situation. And so general idea is just that you're looking at what is the next step in whatever you're doing, whatever the project is, or your life in general, whatever, you're asking what's the next step. And for us as Christians, we're saying, hey, God, what's the next step? And I've even taken it down in the last couple of days. We'll see if this lasts, but to saying, what's my next step right now, God? And so like when I finish this video, stopping and saying, God, what's next? What's the next thing you want me to do? And the last couple of days have been pretty amazing. Like every time I stop and say, hey, what do you want me to do next, God? There's been like a clear, this is what you should do next. And I was telling Jason last night, we're talking about it again, and standing in the kitchen, and I was like, my thing is, I'm looking around, and I'm like, there's like 20 things just standing in this kitchen that I could do next. I could put that away. I could put that away. I could do that. I could put this away. I could take care of that. I could do the video. I could do this. I could do that. There's like 20 things that I'm like, my brain's just going like, I could do this. I could do this. My eyes are seeing things. My brain's going on its own things. And the question is, what does God want me to do next? Because I can fill my day. There's no doubt about that. I can fill my day, but what does God want me to do next? And so next steps for us it's been really good. Just in the 2 weeks or so, we've been thinking about it and kind of starting to implement it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out throughout the year. One thing is we're in an older home. We've lived here 17 years. We've done, when something breaks, we fix it, but we haven't done like major maintenance. So we need to paint, inside and outside. Like we never painted when we moved in. We painted a couple of rooms, but we didn't like do a full paint on the whole house. So there's areas that need to be painted interiorly still. Whatever. Just pretend I'm saying the right words. Exterior hasn't been painted in 17 years. Don't know when they painted before that, but it definitely needs attention. Our flooring is not good. It's literally like duct taped together. So, there's just a lot. There's a lot of things. And so our chimneys need repair. Got a quote on that last year. Then the dog had an emergency vet issue. All the money I had saved for the chimneys went to getting the dog fixed. So now we have to save that back up. I mean, we're almost ready to do that, but what's our next step? And our next step on the house is getting the chimneys done, because if they get any worse, they're going to start falling apart, and then we're going to have a bigger issue. So that's been our next step on the house. Well, when I look at the floors and go, dang, we really need to redo these floors, I can go, nope, that's not on my plate right now. That's not my next step. My next step is the chimneys, getting the chimneys done. And it's really a huge stress release. Like, I can table that, I can say, yep, that's still an issue. I'm tabling that. That is not the next step. And same with homeschool, same with work, same with life choices, like big life choices, like, are we doing this? Are we doing that? Don't know. That doesn't matter right now. That's not the next step. And I'm a very forward thinking, like, where are we going to be in 5 years? What are we going to be doing? Do I want to continue this job for that long? Do I want to continue homeschooling that long? I'm a kind of a like forward thinker in that way. And I'm not going to not do that, because that's just who I am. But it's really nice to be able to say, I'm tabling that. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to stress about it. I don't need to overthink it, which is a great skill I have, overthinking. And I can just focus on the next step. And so that has been really cool to implement, like I said, for the last 2 weeks. And I'm super excited to see how 2022 plays out. I think it also, we make a lot of plans in life, and then COVID hits. We make a lot of plans in life and lockdowns hit. We make a lot of plans in life and we get sick, and I think that if we can look at the next step, there's a greater likelihood that there's going to be less disappointment, because you don't have this grandiose plan that's going to then fall apart or cause you mega stress trying to make it happen. It's what's the next step. And so, for example, I don't know what our next travel plans are. We don't have anything planned right now. We don't have a next step in that area, except that every time I get a paycheck, I put a little bit in an account that's labeled vacation. And then when we get a next step for travel, I'm prepared. We have the money in the bank. We can go make that next step. Or that amount in the bank will determine what our next step is. Like, there's no Hawaii trip in there right now. There's maybe like, we're going to Kellogg with our friends amount in there. And so we're still planning, and we're still making direct, heading out in directions and planning ahead to some degree, but we're really focusing on what is the next step. So speaking of the next step, what's the next step for this YouTube channel? There is going to be 1 or maybe 2 videos on It's My Life on that playlist. One is Isaac's birthday and Christmas. The other one, I still have to look at whether I'm going to do it or not. And that's just like a December recap, because I already did the snow trip to get our tree, and then I have birthday, Christmas. So I may or may not put that out this week. And after that, I'm not going to do any more recaps. And it's really just going to be, I'm going to really, the plan, we'll see what throws a wrench in this one. But the next step plan for this channel is to do cubbyhole conversations on Sundays, and then Spore Family Adventures, and just really focus on those 2 things. There may be a few project videos here and there, like Jason's bike project or the shed, the gym shed. That's pretty much done. But things like that may also pop up occasionally, but I'm going to not do as much filming in our day-to-day life, and stop trying to do that, and really just focus on when we go adventuring, and then getting the videos up in a more appropriate time frame, instead of it's 2 weeks later and I'm just now getting this video out type of thing. So stay tuned to that. Again, Cubbyhole Conversations is going to continue, because there are a few people who really like that. If you don't like it, don't watch it. That's okay. I don't mind. The second thing that's going to be happening is the Spore Family Adventures will continue. And as we go on adventures, we will film those and put those up. And then 3, there may be just some random project videos here and there, little short things or whatever. Isaac will continue to do whatever he's doing on his portion of the channel. He's very hit and miss as to whether or not he's going to do anything. So if you enjoy those, follow along. I hope you have an awesome 2022. I mean, honestly, I feel like the tides are turning. I'm praying for a revival in our country and in the world. I pray that people will come to know the Lord. I pray that those of us who've been silent too long will have a voice. Jesus is the way, the hope, the truth, the life. And people need to know that. People need to know that there's no hope in vaccines. There's no hope in presidents. There's no hope in governors. There's no hope in staying in your house all the time. Like, that is not your hope. That is not your hope. That is survival. That is tools. Those are tools. Those are people. And that's not where our hope comes from. Our hope comes from the Lord. And so I just hope and pray that you will find the Lord, and that you will listen to his voice, and that you will listen to him and say, hey, Lord, what's my next step? So Happy New Year. See you next time on Cubbyhole Conversations.